States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As a reminder, tonight's meeting is being both video and audio taped. Anyone in the audience is doing so, please inform the board. Thank you. Before we get started, I would like to have a moment of silence. Tragic events last week that unfolded in Las Vegas, and also passing of Laura Lezak, who will have a moment of silence. Thank you. All right, minutes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the minutes of September 26, 2017 as written.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, you got it in your book too.
Correspondence?
I have a couple of things, Mr. Chairman. First, the office received notice from the town clerk's office that voter registration will be held on Monday, October 23rd from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. This will be the last chance to register to vote for the special town meeting, which is scheduled for November 2nd, 2017, and will be held at 6:30 p.m. at the Warren Community Elementary School.
And just to mention again, that's at the elementary school, it's not going to be at the high school. Thank you.
The Warren West Brookfield Youth Football will be holding their homecoming game on Sunday, October 8th, beginning at 12 noon. Pee-wee, junior, and senior games will be held against the Ware Indians. A halftime show featuring the Cougar cheerleaders will also be held. More information on times can be found on the Times website at www.warren/mass.gov.
If anybody has not had a chance to go down and watch these kids play, it is some of the best football you'll see, because all they're playing for is the love of the game. The cheerleaders are out there having a ball. So if you have a chance, come down to the high school and support them.
And lastly, Mr. Chairman, notice was given to the Selectmen's office that due to a change in his work schedule, Dario Nardi is resigning from the Regional Animal Control and Dispatch Service, the CMRPC alternate delegate position, and the CMMPO delegate West Sub-Region.
He's not here, but I want to thank him for all of his hard work on that.
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Okay. James Fountain.
Yes.
Notification of Chapter 61A, Town Farm Road, discussion and vote expected. You're on, sir.
Okay. No, I'm trying to buy another piece of land on Town Farm Road, on the opposite side of the road that I've been working on. And I guess I have to offer it to the town because it's under farmlands. So
Okay.
that's it.
You've been doing great work up there. People are buying them, people are loving them. The houses look fantastic. The only caveat is we don't have an executed copy from the seller yet.
Right.
So, do you have any questions, sir?
No.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to sign once we've received the executed copy from the seller.
And I will second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Looks like you're up again, sir. Citizens Action Committee, discussion on 980 Main Street and town-owned properties. I will begin with 980. I actually discussed it with you a little bit in the parking lot. Caracas has been doing the sidewalks, and they have had, as the chief can probably attest to, a couple of issues with people going into the equipment. They're also utilizing 980 for some of their equipment. I didn't want to have anything done immediately, and I also wanted them to have quick, easy access. Once that is done, which should be within the next few weeks. But in the meantime, I have a couple of preliminary quotes. I am having the Conservation Commission come down, and they're gonna look at it and let me know how the sheet flow needs to go, so I can get the proper quoting, finalized quotes, bring that to the planning board, get their okay, and have it all paved up. I would like it by the end of the year. It might be spring, but we're trying to get everything lined up. So downtown's done, parking lot's done, and everything runs smooth. it's a timing issue.
I just have some comments.
Absolutely.
Number one is, if that's the same contractor that's made his staging area out there, is that
No.
what that was gonna look like too?
It's not.
Yeah.
I think it's been a long time coming. I mean, our
Yeah.
board worked very hard to get rid of what was there, T-Bones. And to see it just sitting there. And I thought when you guys went to the planning board, you would have had a plan that's submitted to show exactly what you were doing, because that's what their site
There
plan
were
review is.
some discrepancies between what they wanted and what the Conservation Commission was saying was necessary. So I want to hear from the Conservation Commission, have them come down and review the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to do first, and then I'll go to the planning board. I know that the water department has requested a few items, but I'm not sure if that's something that we're even going to entertain. But I want to have conservation in there first, say how the sheet flow should go, then bring that to the planning board and say, this is how we're gonna do it. Hopefully that'll be a smooth, easy process. They've been working very well with us so far, which is good. And get the 3 quotes and have it done. And I'm hoping by the end of the year, but it all depends on the downtown project. I don't want big equipment on a new
Yeah,
parking
they won't be
lot.
paving it this year, by the looks of things, because of the.
It may not be, but we do have the millings
Yeah.
down there, and it is able to be parked on
Yeah,
until such time. I use it all the time, I see other people on there.
yeah.
Um,
I guess my concern is that it's just taking so long. I mean, the
Yeah.
planning board only has so much time to act on it, so does the conservation. And
We
it
only
seems
got
like
everything
if you submitted a
approved.
plan to them, and then it was acted on, and it needed stuff done, it's been a long time. Well, I don't know if it's the planning board, it may not be even be that board holding it up. It just seems like,
We waited to see if we could get the money.
yeah,
And that was July that we got that. And then it was, okay, they're utilizing this now, so I'm like, okay, when are you gonna be done? I have no problems with you using it, because it's gonna be easy access for you, you can get it done quicker.
yeah.
And now it's just kind of my favorite thing, hurry up and wait.
Yeah. Like I say, not that a lot of us agree with the way the town was designed because of parking and everything else, but it does look neater and cleaner.
Mhm.
But then you come in and look at that.
Oh, I know.
We're back to still a hole in the ground.
But that is better than what was there before.
Oh, I agree, but it would look better if it was done. So-
Absolutely.
So that was our concern.
And I'll keep you in the loop. I'll keep you up to date on any progress that's made, and you can share that with the citizens.
Well, the reason why we even were gonna talk about it is because we thought that if it was a matter of no one having time to do it, that our board would be very happy to oversee it getting done. I mean, we're not looking for any compensation for it, we just would like to see it get done. So we'd be willing to do that, so.
As would I. You know what, I may utilize that depending upon other projects that are going on, but I do want to wait until the downtown is done and then get that done right afterwards,
Okay,
depending upon timing, sir.
okay.
All right, and, anyone else?
Hi,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm here waiting for Andy, but while I'm here, I live up at Evergreen, and how come all the street lights are out up there?
I'm not sure, that's more of a comments and concerns, but seeing as how you brought it up, let's address it.
Oh, Andy's at the next meeting too, on the 10th.
What 10th? Oh,
October
the
10th.
next week, yeah, is there any way that I could find that out?
Did you know
the
that the
answer
lights
to
were
that?
out?
We are waiting, I received a call from a lady, Sylvia, I don't remember her last name. She is part of the park commission and works with Andrew. But my understanding is that there was some difficulty in agreeing with the inventory, and Dario had gone through that just recently, so we're waiting for some finalized inventory from National Grid.
Oh, it's just kind of dangerous because we have the children.
No, I
going
did speak to
school,
Sylvia
yeah.
about that, so
Okay,
we are working on it.
okay. I'm
Okay.
sorry I got the wrong day to be with Andy.
Yep,
I'll just,
he'll be here next week though.
I'll be here with him then.
all right, continuing on with citizens' action. Town-owned properties,
Yes.
Okay, I'll take over here.
all right?
Okay, we had an initial meeting on May 18th.
Yep.
You were present and
Yep.
Mr. Richard. Everybody seemed very interested in getting the project going again. There was a list of action items. The action committee, we did our action items. Bob Lavash was supposed to contact the auctioneer, talk about splitting a cost with other towns. Don Swistak was gonna go to school, which I think she did, but I'm
Yes,
not
she
sure.
She did, yeah, she did.
And Becky, Jim, Gagner, and Jim Fountain were to meet with the Palmer treasurer for guidance.
Yep.
So those were the action items. I personally called Posnick Auctioneers and was told that everything is negotiable, even if we don't sell the property. Because someone had made a comment at the meeting that if you don't sell the property, you have to pay a certain amount to the auctioneer. And the person there, I forgot his name, I have it in my other notes, said that everything is negotiable, and he would be very happy to meet with town officials and get this going. I see in the paper that surrounding towns are selling their properties, and last time we sold anything was 3 years ago, and we made quite a bit of money on it. We asked for another meeting, and we're told to meet with the assessors. And at the May 18th meeting, we were told that the assessors had nothing to do with the issue. So we really don't know what to do anymore.
Okay.
And we feel to date, very little has been accomplished since our May 18th meeting. And that, winter is coming and we're not gonna be selling any property, so here goes another year. And that's a tax burden on the taxpayers, because we have property that we can sell and we're not doing anything about it.
Bob, did you reach out?
Did I what?
Were you able to reach out?
Nope.
All right. I did phone tag with Palmer, and that's about as far as Palmer went. We kept with the phone tag and trying to coordinate schedules. Sir?
This gentleman she's talking about is Aaron something. I got his card upstairs. And he was charging us $400 a piece for the ones that didn't sell.
Yeah, I
So if
mean,
he's negotiating, it's, but the whole thing starts with the assessors, goes to the tax collector, all ends up in the hands of the treasurer, and it's all governed by the treasurer, that's all.
Do you have an idea, one second, and then I'll get right to you. Do we have an idea of exactly how many properties we have that we are able to, okay, can we get that?
I already have it. And that was one of the things I've been sending to the board of, to all you guys. I think I've sent it 2 or 3 times. I took the list that Mrs. Coash gave, which listed every town-owned property, and I broke it up into another Excel sheet of just properties that could be sold. In other words, I didn't take the school or, the town hall, things like that, but legitimate properties that could be sold. And the other thing, at that May 18th meeting, we asked, who starts this process? We were told the tax collector starts it, and then it goes to the treasurer.
Right.
We were told that the assessors have nothing to do with it.
That's
That
correct.
was Mr. Lavash's words.
Okay.
We have nothing to do with it.
May I,
So you have
Mr.
a,
Chairman?
absolutely.
I had a conversation today, one, assessor's office, the only involvement they have is when the property is unknown, because that's the department that has to research and do the legwork to find out where you can even, that's the assessor's part of that process. But you are correct, Louise, that it does go from the assessors, if they are involved, to carry back to Dawn. And as you just mentioned, Dawn has only been in this position since May. She's took the 1-week class regarding tax properties. She has very little experience, and it is a very time-consuming and complicated process. But I do know, talking to Kerry, that some of the properties, I don't know which ones, I didn't get into that deep of a conversation, but there is some progress being made on some of the more outstanding properties.
All right. How many properties are you looking at? By your calculation?
I would say good 25.
Okay. Out of those 25, what I would do is bring that to, if I'm correct in the workflow here, you need to bring that to Dawn, because if there is any forward motion by the property owner, they make one payment, you're back at square one. To see how many of those are in that, because I know we had some issues up on my street, something similar. They make one payment, and then you're back at square one, and you have to go through the whole process again. To try to whittle that down to how many we actually have, or, Bob, if you can take the lead on that to find out how many we actually have.
Do you
I
know how
heard
many of those have
25.
been to court
No,
out of those 25?
no, that's not my job.
Well, you're saying
Whose
you went,
job is it?
you said, excuse me, you said you went through the process to find out which ones are available to sell.
No.
If you haven't
No,
done that-
I
Okay,
didn't do
hold on,
that.
hold
I
on.
didn't do that.
Speak to me.
I didn't do
And then
that.
it's all good.
Tell 'em I
Okay,
didn't do
okay.
that.
So,
Who does it?
can we get your list of 25?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
email it again.
Bob, from there, can you work with Dawn to find out how many of those 25 we can actually move forward on?
You gotta find out how many of them have gone to court.
Right,
When
but
they-
Dawn
when they've
should
gone
have
to
all
court-
that.
When they've gone to court and
Yep.
they've given us possession of those properties,
Right,
you still need another year before we can touch those properties. Because if their long-lost child comes up and pays the taxes on it, they own the property again.
okay, so there is, what you're saying is after it goes to court, there is a year waiting period before the town can actually move on.
Correct.
Okay. But Jimmy had his hand up first.
So,
Oh,
so,
you
so the
couldn't
last
see, he was
50
behind you.
years don't matter.
Pardon?
So the last 50 years don't matter, because his properties have been on the books since 1949, that's more than a year. And you should not be,
Until-
well, I'm sorry,
Okay, go
the
ahead.
assessors should not be asking us to do their work.
Absolutely.
If they're not doing their work, then they should be replaced, as simple as that. You've got a man here that's sitting here that's supposed to be the caretaker of all of the land that isn't taken care of. Why isn't he doing his job? Why are you asking us to do the job? What we're basically here for is to say, our committee's been formed over 4 years now. We've been to your board, we've been to the boards previous for the last 4 years, asking for the same thing, we're getting nowhere. So my idea is, at this point, I've been asking around, where do we go next? Because I truly don't think that there is a procedure that anybody follows. I don't think there is. In all fairness, Mark, I'm sorry, but I can understand you have a new, what do you call it? Treasurer now, but you also had the lady before. I mean, it's just an ongoing thing, nobody's doing it. And to say that, oh, it's gonna cost us $400 to go through this process, big deal.
I don't care
Some of the
about
land, we're looking at
$400.
$25,000, $30,000, who knows how much it is?
What I'm looking for first is how many actual properties can we take?
I think some of them are already taken. According to your paperwork, it saes year taken, boom. So if that means.
Right, but I'm trying to remember
But
last.
that doesn't mean
Yeah.
that we own them.
That doesn't mean that we.
What does that mean?
That was in the last meeting, we had a conversation around that, that doesn't mean that it's gone through the court. Go ahead.
Louise, out of, there's unknown properties, is that what the CAC
No.
is?
That's
is
another
asking?
issue.
Right.
Okay.
This is strictly a list that we got from Mrs. Coash.
That says Town of Warren.
Right,
It says Town
town-owned
of Warren,
property. It
elementary
includes
school, obviously you
everything.
can't sell
So
that.
I
Who is that,
weeded,
Mrs. Coash?
I weeded out like street names, different, or different properties owned by people. I made a separate list for that.
yeah, it is.
So that's what we thought would be good to
Where
sell.
the
or-
town couldn't move forward
Right.
and sell, because we
Yeah.
actually own them.
Yeah.
The unknown properties are not something that's recent. And again, we're
Yeah,
not here
they've been-
So
complaining
you
about
have
people
town
letting you go over
owned
taxes for
properties,
10 years. We're
and
saying
then
previous to
you also
that.
have unknowns, which need to go to the Board of Assessors, they need to research.
But
Okay.
they're not.
We had, when we had a meeting, we were concerned about unknown properties. There was a lot of them.
Yep,
And Mr. Lavash came to our meeting and said that he knew nothing about the unknown properties. He didn't know how to figure out how they could be known. And we said, well, if you know who abuts here and who abuts here and who abuts here,
break it up.
you know the property. I mean, 3 sides and you pretty much know.
Well, I would think it has to go back to somebody,
But
It
it's
does,
been
it does
looked
somewhere,
at
what,
but it takes
so
research.
long.
right, when we
And
had
you
them
wanna
in
do
here
the
before, I'm
research.
just trying to remember, it was something along the lines of the way that they used to do property was they used a measurement called rods, I believe.
They still do.
But they also had, you own, Jimmy, you own from that tree over to,
That rock.
that rock. And when they changed it over and they got more definitive, there were gaps. And some of those are those gaps. I'm just trying, again, to remember, maybe it's refreshing you as well, and you can help me while I'm doing this. That may be it, but let's get back to the issue that everybody's really concerned with, which is getting the properties that we can take care of, taken care of. Bob, you're the tax title guy, okay? Can you get the list from her and see what we can whittle down that we actually can do, and then come back to us with that, so that we know what we have for actual properties?
I can take the list to Don, but Don's the only one that can tell you which ones we own.
Right, so what I'm saying is, can you get the list?
Yeah, but Jim, the list came from them.
The list came from you, so you have the list.
What?
Can you go through this, thank you, can you go through that with Dawn and find out which ones we actually can go through? Which ones are in the 1 year waiting? And which ones have made a payment or 2 payments or are continuing to make payments and should be off of that list of 25? So we have an actual
If
list, 'cause right now we have
They started
variables.
making payments, they're off the list.
Right, gotcha.
But if they're already town-owned property, we own them.
That's
They
right.
can't come back and
It's
start
gotta
paying.
be the ones,
There's a difference between town-owned and tax title.
yes.
So which
That's a whole
ones
other
are
list.
town, which ones are
Yeah.
actually town-owned that we can move on, and then we can start this process and get it done?
When they actually go into what they call tax title, is confusing to me. I still don't know when we own them. But it's gonna go to court. I know it's gonna go through the process. The treasurer has to take it to court, and the court has to give us ownership of that property.
I will get to you in a second. But do we know how many have already done that?
No.
I think is what they're looking for.
I don't know. We have to go and see Don.
Right, and that's what I'm asking you to do, as tax
I
title.
heard you.
Huh?
I heard you.
All right, well, can you do it?
Yeah.
Excellent. So, hold on, hold on.
I'll tell you right now, it's not 25.
And that's fine, that's fine. If it's not 25, if it's 2, it's okay. As long as we know exactly how many we have to work with, so we can begin moving forward with the process, if it's worth it. If it's 2, I don't know if it's worth it, if we can get a couple people in and get it, depending upon the properties.
It's not just two.
Right, but I'm just hypothetically, let's get a number that's definitive, that we know that we're working with. Roughly how long do you think it will take you to get? Guessing. Give me a guessing.
Can I get a copy of that list so she doesn't have to make it out again?
Yep.
Okay.
Do you have an email?
Excuse me?
Do you have an email?
Yeah.
I'll get it after the meeting.
Okay. And then, how long do you think it'll take you to work with Don to get that?
I have no idea.
All right. Can you update me?
I got the list, I'll go in to see Don tomorrow.
All right, can you update me so I can update them? And then we'll get you all back in. And Becky, please remind me of this because they've been put off long enough. So we can get this going and know what we're working with. Sir?
Do you I want the town to understand what we're trying to accomplish, because the way we look at it, I look at it specifically, is that we're all being overcharged on our taxes, because of the ones that were, and someone's gonna say, well, no, it'd be the same tax rate for everybody. I understand that, but the town is a big government. The town takes so much money every year to run, and I understand that, so they tax the people to get the money. But if everybody paid their fair share of taxes, then all of us wouldn't have to pay as
It's about the
much.
pot more, absolutely.
Simple as that.
Gotcha,
And if
gotcha.
anybody says I'm wrong, then I'll explain to me how I can be wrong, unless we're gonna tax everybody, whether everybody's paying, and we're just putting money away. I mean, but it seems to me like a common thing is that if everybody were, and again, we're not talking about people that only owe, if people owe the last 5 years, we're not saying that, we're talking about,
Yeah,
it goes way
a
back.
lot.
It goes way back, and and you don't see any direction where it's going forward, like you're not addressing the real old ones, you're not addressing anybody. It just seems like for everybody else that isn't paying, isn't fair for the ones that are not paying.
Gotcha. So, as a first step, is what I spelled out amenable to you guys?
Well, I don't know, I don't think we wanna wait another 6 months to find out, because to be quite honest with you, the reason why I was coming here tonight was to say that we were informed that the next avenue to go to is the Department of Revenue, and say the town's not doing their job,
Yep.
because that's where it seems to be going, the town's not doing their job, so.
Bob, do you think you can have it done in 2 weeks?
I can have it done tomorrow.
You can have it done tomorrow.
If
Becky,
Don-
put it on the
if
agenda
Don
for
can
next
do
week.
that list.
Hold on, put it on the agenda for next week, please.
If Don can do that list, I'm going to sit down and hand her the list and wait for her to, I don't know what she's gotta go through to find out.
Okay.
I don't know if she knows
So
what
what I'm
she's
gonna
gotta
do
go
is I'm
through
gonna
to
have
find
this
out.
back on for next week. I'll follow, if you can follow up with Dawn, if there's gonna be a delay.
If she can't do it by next week,
They
then I'm
need
gonna
to
come in
be
next
aware
week
of
and
it.
say she hasn't got time to do it.
That's what's gonna happen.
But
I
I
mean,
think what Mrs. Mandela's asking is if we take a look at the town-owned property outside of the fire station and the police station and
Yeah.
everything else that we cannot sell, it's already ours, we don't have to go to court or anything. The
How many
steps
of those
in-
do we
in-
have?
I said 25.
In trying to move those.
Okay.
That's one issue.
So then we need to
The other
verify with Dawn
issue
that we can do that.
We,
Is the tax title properties. And then another issue is the unknown.
Right,
Right.
so first we're doing the town-owned, because we figured that
Right.
might be the easiest
Easier.
thing to do. And I'm hoping that the legends are correct on the sheets. Now, if it says town-owned and we really don't own it, then there might be something wrong with the way the sheet is titled. But it says town-owned,
So you're looking to sell town-owned properties?
yes. What do we
Well, if they're
think?
houses, if they're houses that we
Or
own that we're not
land,
utilizing.
or land.
Well, no, they're not talking tax title properties now, they're talking town-owned lands.
Yeah, town-owned land, that they already.
Three-
Oh, hold on, Jimmy.
3 years ago, when we had, 3 or whatever it was, 4 years ago, when we had the auctions of the properties that were, there was 2 properties that were not sold then.
Yep.
That it seems like tomorrow they could be sold again, but there was confusion on one lot that Bob had said he was gonna get it perked, because it was not perked. So he told everybody at the auction that it was gonna get perked. 3 years later, it's not perked to the best of my knowledge. The second thing is the one that's up in Southbridge Road across from Seventh-day Adventist is ready to go, as far as I thought. It's 2.5 acres. Someone actually bid it up so high that nobody wanted it, and then after the person found out that it wasn't worth what they wanted, they backed out. But that property seems like tomorrow could be sold. And I know the 2 abutters want to buy it. So what are we holding up? Or what are we waiting for on that one? And I'm sure there's other properties that also are in the same situation that could be auctioned off because the town has owned them for so long. So that's what, that's what we're saying, is it seems like it's going nowhere.
Because those parcels have already been through the process.
They've been through once.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are ones,
Just
we do
that's
have to
what-
double check. We
That's
do have-
one situation.
Right, we do have to
Yeah,
double check.
absolutely.
You don't have to double check. They're both on Southbridge Road, one is not perked, the other.
I'm talking of the
The
25.
whole list.
I'm talking the whole list. Double check the whole list.
They have it all.
If there
I
was.
wanted, I know, but these guys have been waiting long enough. They make a valid point. They have a valid point. They shouldn't have had to have waited this long. We need to get this done. Mark, I'm sure you're in agreement with that.
Yes, absolutely.
If the town wants to do nothing about this, just tell us about that.
No,
Because we'll just
it's-
back away. I mean, we've spent a lot of time on this, and we're just getting kind of.
So, Bob, you're gonna have the 25 double checked. We're gonna get in touch with Dawn in the morning. If there's any delay at all, I will be in touch with you. The longest delay that I will accept is a week, to make it 2 weeks.
And I
Okay?
will email.
And after that,
Coach, you don't wanna make those kind of promises, you don't know what it's gonna take Dawn to look those things up.
I just said the longest that I will accept is 2 weeks. If it doesn't happen in those 2 weeks, then we have to go to the next step. We have to see whether we go to DOR, whether we do whatever. If she is too overwhelmed, then maybe we do need somebody to come in and help us out.
I agree.
All right, and if we have to eat, a bite of the burger because of it, I'm okay with that, because it has been so long, and because there has been delays that shouldn't have been there. All right, and we have to accept that.
Well, while Dawn's doing her thing, should the assessors be doing their thing, checking on the unknown properties? I mean, that's not, if you're saying there's 2 different people, why can't one person be working on that, one person be working on
Can we
the
have the
other?
assessors check the unknown properties, please? Can we get a note over
He's
there?
an assessor right there.
Bob?
Yeah.
Doris, that's 2 for you. If you can get in touch with the rest of them, start doing those unknowns to see what we can do, how we can do,
That's
if we
gonna
can
take a
do.
little longer because Mary Lou's on vacation the rest of the day.
Understood, but the first one we wanna look at is those 25, so those are ones that we feel we can get going quick. And if we can get going quick, we want them gone quick. So we can get that revenue into the town, get them sold, hopefully get some buildings on there, and get some revenue into the town, spread the tax base.
The reason this thing has taken so long is I don't think there's any easy answers to what they're looking for.
And that's fine,
I don't
but
think you're gonna go through this
let's,
process and you're not gonna get any more of these answers.
but what's
They're gonna
happened
come
is
back
we've
saying
stopped
the
looking
same
for the
thing.
answers, myself included.
Yep. I get it.
That's what's happened, and we have to get back to doing that. Yes,
I think there's no easy answer because there's no written procedure on what you have to do by steps. Where I work, everything that I do is in a standard work process. I do this, every month I do this, every 3 months I do this. It's like a tickler system. So, God forbid, if I should end up in a hospital or something, someone
next
can
one
go
comes in
in
and gets
and, well, I can't do what I do, but they can, do some of it. But
Gotcha.
there's no written procedure. We ask slush time
Right.
for one.
let's look at the 25 right now.
Yeah.
Give me a week, 2 tops. If it goes past 2, Jimmy, you and I will start finding out what we can do outside of that, or Louise, you and I can start finding out what we can. Look at you shaking your head, I ain't doing that.
If we don't hear anything in 2 weeks, then the Department of Revenue should get
I
involved.
will, absolutely, and I'll work with you on that.
After 40 years, it's been a while.
I got no problems with that.
Yeah.
Mark?
No, sir.
Okay?
Yep.
Becky, you got all that written down?
Yeah, can the Board of can you give us something in writing from the assessors to the selectmen with some sort of a time frame? Because this isn't gonna be done in 2 afternoons, really.
Can I give you some kind of time frame on what it's, no.
Man, no, you have to do.
Well,
Doesn't
yeah.
matter, you have to wait till Mary Lou comes back.
No,
You
I
have to wait,
understand that.
if she wants to go look up, I don't even know what properties they wanna go look up.
Maybe we
They
should
wanna
go
look
out
up
to find
unknown
the work
properties, it could take
week.
forever. I mean, the one
There
thing-
you go, there you go.
What
But
about
that's what I'm saying, when she
volunteer from
comes
the
back from
outside to help
vacation, talk to her about what Mrs. Mandela is discussing here tonight, and
I will get that
Give us some-
email to both Dawn, the list, email, and to Bob when I get his tomorrow morning.
myself as well, please?
Yeah,
Thank
I will do.
Thank you. All right.
Done.
All right, we're good for now. We're good for now. Jimmy, I'll stay in touch with you. If I hear anything, I'll let you know. Huh?
you want them on the next
I want them on the
meeting.
next meeting. That's how it stands right now. And if it delays, we can push it to the next one. If it goes past that, then we're going out to the next
I
level.
think you ought to go out there now.
I think we should take,
I think you ought to go out there now. I
think
don't think
we
you're
should
gonna,
allow
if they're gonna get
Dawn
the
to
answers
be-
they want, you're gonna go out there anyway. Why wait? Go out now.
Well, where?
allow Dawn.
Wherever they're talking about going out, DOR, DOT,
I think we should
whoever.
allow Dawn to do her job. She is new. I think it would be a good experience for her to do this. And if she is able to do it, I want her to have the opportunity to do it. If she can't, I'm okay with going there. But I want to give her that right of first refusal. I'm not gonna say, Dawn, this is your job, but we're taking it away from you.
But, you
Allow her
know,
the opportunity to do it, and if she can't, then I'm more than happy to work
I think it's a
outside.
question of whether or not she can do it. I have no doubt that she can do it. I don't think they're gonna come up with the answers they want.
but not for nothing, do we really wanna go to DOR and tell them, hey, we're not doing our job?
So
I don't
that's,
think that's not
let's
the- gonna be
try to
the
keep it
answer.
in-house.
That's such
Let's
a
try to keep it in-house. That's, you okay with that, Mark?
Great game plan.
Then that's the decision as it is right now. Okay? You guys are okay with that?
Yep, thank you.
Excellent. Fantastic. How you doing, Johnny? All right. Beverly Soltis, discussion on WEX gas bills of the police department. Before you get started, have you spoken, because this has to do with the police department, you have spoken with the chief regarding this issue?
Yeah, I sent him a letter August 10th.
Okay, and he gave you a response?
No. I sent him
Okay.
a letter in
August 10th.
regards to questions I had on the WEX bill. So last week, the chief stated that he can access information on mileage usage on any vehicle in the fleet. But if information on the WEX invoices are unreliable, what good is this information? I have the WEX bills, and there's 5 credit cards used at the Gulf Station in West Warren, but the department has 6 vehicles. So, one thing I notice is the Ford 500 unmarked doesn't have a credit card. So does that vehicle not get gas? The other thing is like, the Humvee, which the chief uses evidently to go back and forth to work, which is ridiculous.
Wait a minute.
But
He does not
according-
use the Humvee to go back and
But
forth.
according to the
Card.
Wex bill, that's the credit card he uses, okay? Now, on a June statement he made, that the Humvee has 7,300 miles on it, but if you look on the Wex bill, it has 74,000. And there's other discrepancies on these bills as far as mileage. So I guess my question is, I mean, how can we rely on the mileage on these bills if they're not accurate? I mean, the officers obviously put the mileage in when they gas up. So if they put in the wrong mileage, it throws it off.
But does the next bill
And-
have the right mileage?
Pardon?
Does the next bill have the right mileage?
I don't know.
You have all the
knows?
bills right there. How can you not know?
Who knows if it does, if they
You
do.
have all the bills right there. How can you not know?
Well, if one time it's 70,000 on a vehicle, and then maybe during the week or during the month, they put down 10,000.
All right. Is there an actual issue that you have with this?
Well,
I'm trying
it's
to see
just that
what
the
you're-
mileage has been an issue with, the police vehicles. And this could be resolved way back when requests were made for the mileage. But it just seemed like there was, the accountability wasn't there when the chief was asked for mileage on certain vehicles.
Okay, so,
And-
wait a minute. Is this about the bills, or is this about you having an issue
Well,
with
it
the
could be
chief?
both. Maybe the.
Because I'm just trying to
Okay,
figure this out.
Let me ask you, why isn't there a credit card for Ford 500?
I don't know.
and his
Are you
credit
able to
card.
gas up, chief?
There is a
With the
credit
cards that
card.
you have?
Yes.
Which one is it?
I'm not sure how it's listed on that report.
I mean, as long as they're able to get gas, I don't care if they have one card.
Well,
As long as they're able to gas up all their vehicles and
yes,
be where
but
they need to be.
if he says that he can download information for each vehicle, but if it's not corresponding to the right vehicle, how can it be accurate? And the other thing I'd like to know is why on previous WEX bills, there was always a list of the drivers, and why did he stop, blocking it out now? And my last point is, access to private information gives the public the tools to hold our town government accountable and avoid secrecy in departments.
No, the right to public information gives you public information. You do not have a right to private information.
Really? Is that
Yes.
private?
Why would it be
That's not
private?
No, no,
Well,
what I'm saying is, the statement she just made,
I said
I just
public.
corrected.
I said
Chief, do
public.
you have anything to say on this?
Yeah, I'm lost on what the actual issue is, and I don't understand what's so important about the mileage on the car, or, Mr. Chairman, what the accountability is and to who. The fact of the matter remains that we have gas cards, we put gas in the cruisers, there's no allegation that anyone's stealing fuel or doing anything
I
inappropriate.
never
So,
allocated.
Mr. and Mrs. Saltis have requested the mileage on the cars. I've given them the mileage on the cars on at least 2 occasions. Mrs. Saltis peruses and scrutinizes the fuel bill every month. She knows exactly what the mileage is. I'm lost to see what the issue is.
Okay, can I just ask, on the Humvee, you use the Humvee?
I do not.
Okay, so why are they using a gas card for the Humvee?
Because it needs gas. I can answer that.
At 70,000 miles on a Humvee, when he says there's only 7,500 on the Humvee. in a report.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir?
I know that there was a point where we were shuffling cars around and cars went for repairs and CO2 issues and gas cards got shuffled around. And we did, at one point, after this issue came to light, we did find out that a couple of the gas cards got shuffled between cruisers. So on that one report, they may have been wrong. That issue's been corrected. The
All right,
current
what
Wex
about
fuel
the
bill should
K9?
request, they should reflect the current mileage.
All right, and Chief Adam, that happens on ours occasionally as well.
Our cards are very similar to the police. The only difference is our cards don't require a mileage entry. It's.
Right, but occasionally they get swapped
I mean,
occasionally.
it's happened before in emergencies. We've had to, in power outages and stuff, when we've had to go different places, on occasion, it absolutely can happen. But it's, like I said, the cards are there to fuel the fleet. I mean, it is.
So,
But to
Beverly, are you?
match the right car, right?
Sometimes it doesn't.
So the K9, I mean, in March, it only got fueled once.
Mr.
But,
Chairman, I still don't see what the issue is.
I'm trying to find what an issue is. As long as there's not an exorbitant amount of gas being used, which would mean possibly they're not using it for the cruisers.
it's the accountability of the mileage.
Right. Chief, could you please ask all of the patrolmen when they gas the vehicles to make sure that they're hitting the right buttons?
That's already been done.
Okay. Other than that, I'm really not sure what you're looking for.
And I'd like to know why he deleted all the information
Yeah,
about
it's a privacy
drivers.
issue.
It's not.
You can start looking at, I did not recognize you.
Why did he
You,
stop?
excuse me, I watched the replay.
Good.
You shouted out an expletive during the last meeting, yes. You can verify that because your daughter was in your lap 3 seats away. I ever hear that, you will be out of this room, you will be out of this room quickly. That is not to be tolerated in this room. Thank you.
So,
Continue.
that was the question. Why did he delete?
Mr. Chairman, that was addressed actually at the last meeting.
Yep.
The issue is, I believe, that in the WEX fuel bills, the fuel bills list not only the cruiser and the mileage, but they also list the officer, the date, the time, and the location.
Yep.
And when it was brought to my attention that the bills were scrutinized to the point where I was getting questioned on why what officer gassed up at what location, on what date, I consulted Chief's Counsel because we believe it's a security issue. The Chief's Counsel told me that it falls squarely under Exemption N of the Public Records Law, and those records should have never been divulged in the first place.
Really?
So from here on out, we are redacting those from the report.
And what exemption is that?
N.
Board's fine with it.
Exemption N,
N?
yes.
So is that the exemption that kind of falls into anything that that you don't want the public to know, it falls into that exemption? Is that basically?
The board is fine with the decision that the chief has made. If you are not happy with it, I can't help you with that because the board's not gonna change its mind because that's what Chief's Counsel had said and we're okay with what Chief's Counsel has said. Yes.
At the last meeting, I sat next to Stan,
Yep.
and I honestly did not hear anything. Now, my hearing isn't the greatest,
Okay.
but, I mean, I was this close to him. How do you get a copy of that tape? Because
It's right upstairs. And I was approached by a few people who heard it.
because actually, if I heard it, I would've told him.
Okay.
I
We had a
would've-
9-year-old girl sitting
Yeah.
3 seats.
Because I don't use vulgar language, so it would've upset me.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Beverly. Sir.
I would like to suggest that if these people are not happy with the systems and the way things are going on, that they should run for office and try and change it.
Thank you, sir. Excellent.
Here.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Absolutely, sir.
I know there's another agenda item, I believe, on discussion on the bike lanes.
Yes.
I do have another matter to attend to. If you think my input would be necessary for that discussion, I'd be happy to stay for it, but I would ask that you take it out of order.
I have no problems with that, and it's actually,
Is number 9?
yeah. Not a problem. All right, moving on. Mass DOT resurfacing project, discussion on bike lanes, possible vote. Working with Senator Goby, Representative Smola, we were able to get the DOT, I can divulge all this, right?
Pardon?
I can divulge all this, right? Okay. We are working with DOT right now to decertify from the lights in West Warren to Spring Street. Decertify it as state highway. And that will allow us to keep the parking all the way down there. Keep the parking for all those businesses as it should be. That is what we're working on doing. That is the intent that we would like. It has to go before the town. I don't think the town's gonna have any problems with it. If they do, they can vote and we'll keep it that way and the parking is gone. But we were able to, with the help of Senator Goby and Representative Smola, we were able to get DOT to say, okay, you guys take this over, and I'm actually gonna be having a meeting with Becky. Bruce, I'd asked you to be there, and Tom, I'm gonna want you to be there as well, to see what this is gonna take. It is a few blocks that is gonna require some additional plowing. We're already doing the sidewalks on it, and it's gonna alleviate problems. We have a tough enough time getting business in this town to begin with. The last thing I wanna do is hinder any of the current businesses that we have.
It's the only solution that we
Right.
have available to us.
Right, and we have the opportunity to do it, so we're gonna be moving forward. Becky, you've had some conversations as well. You
I
can give
spoke
some
to
insight.
Richard Massey at District 2 in Northampton, and he said what we need to do, and maybe Tom can help us out with this, is to get some sort of marker information such as, you know, the town's intent. We have to send them a letter, so I can draft that if you want tomorrow and have the chair sign. Or Mr. Richards can sign too, it's, you know,
Mhm.
majority vote. To say from mile marker X to mile marker X. We had talked about the corner of Main and North Street to Spring Street. So I don't know if there's any mile markers in there. They're just looking for, excuse me, some sort of kind of a definitive range.
Maybe during the
Within-
discussions that we have, we can.
Within a
narrow
letter
that
of
down.
intent to them to move forward
They
with
can't go
this.
street to street?
We're gonna do a Google map with that.
Okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
I can check some mile mark, I noticed some mile markers
Okay.
coming eastbound from Palmer. I think
Okay.
that's east, correct me if I'm wrong.
And I'll get you in a second, chief. And basically, the way it's gonna work is like it does in front of the police station, where the bikes have their bike lanes, and as soon as it hits Spring Street or the lights, it goes in with traffic. They have to
Merge.
stay, right, they have to merge, basically. But we need to keep that parking. Those businesses need that parking, and we need to do everything in our power to make sure that they have it. And I can't thank Senator Goby and Representative Smola enough, and also Marc, you did some work on this as well. You know, the work that the town was able to do to get this done quickly, I applaud.
Well, you know, the thing is, Jim, is that the state isn't going to just sit there and say, Warren, you don't have to abide by any of the laws.
Right, right.
Unless we are successful in accomplishing this, you know, then we have the problem of the parking issue, and then it complicates matters. Do we go up to the chief of police and say, oh, we don't want you ticketing anybody down there? It gets into a
Yep.
whole pile of things. The only simple solution and the quickest way to do it is for the town to take over that
Yep.
small little section. I don't think it's really amounts to really a lot more, like you say, 'cause it's between 80% of the snow
Mhm.
there anyways, that this will keep things status quo, because the state is not gonna sit there and say, yes, you can break the law.
Right, chief.
For reference on the mile markers, if they don't exist down there, I don't believe they do. The numbers on the utility poles might be a good reference.
Yep.
Sweet. Somebody had their hand up. Sir.
I just have a question. How come there's bike paths in the center of town when that's not a state highway?
You would have to.
That's
ask-
federal funds.
Yeah, that's all federal funds, and they said this is the way you do it.
That's a
They
requirement.
gave us the money to do
Yeah.
it, they, you know,
So-
and they said you have to have this.
That's strange, huh?
Oh, Still before my time, I'm just dealing with the aftermath, sir.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
it's just one, they give you these funds and it's one size fits all. They don't take into consideration the needs of the individual community, the fact that a certain town might have a large population of elderly and disabled people who don't wanna have to park half a mile from where they're going.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's public hearings that are held prior to.
Right, there were a lot of public
Unfortunately,
hearings.
people don't get in tune until after the fact.
When they see it going on usually, that it happens. All right,
And we are working, I'm working with town council to see if we may need some sort of, an article on the special, so we'll have to hurry up and throw that on if need be.
I wanted that on there, you know, I emailed that over, so yeah, if we can get that on there, let's just get it on there, even if it's.
I don't know if it's premature though with DOT, but.
You know what, let's have it in our pocket just in case. I would rather the town vote and then, you know, if it goes awry, we did our part. So I would like to have that, absolutely. Mike, you in concurrence on that?
Let's do it.
All right, sweet. Sir?
Can't you put it on there and then just bypass it at the meeting? Write the
If we
article
need
in,
to,
write
right.
the article anyway and
Yep.
put it in there,
Yep.
and if you
And
don't
I
need it,
think
just
that's
take it out.
Well, I had talked to council about that, and they said, well, what if the town votes it down,
Well, then there's no parking there.
you know?
How about with it?
But our first,
yeah, I
our
don't-
first step, because where they are in the project,
They're close.
they're closed.
They're close.
So we need to get with DOT first and straighten that out and get moving.
Yeah, it's winding down.
All right, anyone else? Good. Chief, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Recycling Dividends Program Grant Award administered to the Board of Health.
This is the annual one that, the Board of Health,
Yep.
that they were successful in getting at. They received another $3,500, so we're just making sure it's
I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to have the chair sign the recycling dividend program grant award on behalf of the board.
And I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Treasury warrants and invoice.
Special town meeting.
Do I have special town meeting? I bypass that too?
You're at 10.
Yep. Special town meeting, ongoing discussion.
So you have your packets there.
I do.
That's a draft warrant.
Yep.
Barry's not here, is he? There's one in the FinCom box. You wanna grab it?
here.
It's in FinCom box if you wanna grab it.
It's just the beginnings, the overview. It's probably gonna be like it is every year. You know, we'll hone it down as we move forward. Looking at legal expense account, some council on aging stuff. We have landfill supplies. This will all be up, this is a draft, this will all be up online in plenty of time for everyone to read, review, come in with questions. You guys are definitely gonna be going through it. And anybody who is looking for any type of capital expense should go before capital planning, but I don't anticipate any of that happening here. But we need your input on this, for sure. I mean, it looks good as it is right now. Does anyone, Tom, did you have anything additional? Were there any changes?
It's besides the 2 articles that I submitted?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right, and we've reached out to all the boards, let them know?
Twice.
Twice? Okay. I see a hand. Yes?
Hi. Just to let you know, the Board of Sewer Commissioners submitted 2 articles.
I see them, yeah.
Okay, I just want to double check on that. I know a board member was supposed to be here at the meeting tonight, and he apparently wasn't able to make it.
Okay.
So if you have any questions, I can answer them to the best of my ability. I think the articles are fairly self-explanatory. The first one, the copper assessment study, that's part of the mandate that was set by the EPA for the permit.
That's just a transfer, though.
Yeah,
Okay, you're not asking for additional funds, you're looking to move them from one to another.
correct.
Okay. And and another transfer for about $2,200.
Correct. That was an FY17 bill that, we never received. It was supposed to be mailed to Sean at the wastewater treatment plant, and it kind of, things were really busy there, and by the time this, they sent an email to Madeline a month ago. They emailed the bill to her, and by the time they kind of gave us a heads up, that the bill wasn't paid, it was too late to encumber it, so we had
Right.
to put it on for.
Right, but again, it's a transfer, you're not
Yeah,
looking to appropriate or
exactly.
pull any funds. It does require a 9/10 vote, though,
I
because it's last year.
understand that, yes.
Okay. Mark?
No, I'm all set. I just had a couple of questions on the dollar amounts here that weren't listed. Did
Yeah.
They weren't provided.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is just the warrant, you don't need to do it. If you
Yeah.
have it, it's great to put it on, but obviously for the motion, they are working on them. You're talking about 4 and 5?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the purchase of land
Yep.
and the vegetation.
Yep. They do
Sir.
not have those
Just a quick
available.
question, is
Yeah.
how many articles we up to so far?
We're looking at 12, I think I just saw.
Possibly 13 if we do the DOT thing.
Right, possibly 13 if we do the DOT thing, but it doesn't look like it should be anything outrageous. We should be able to rip through it quick. I like fast meetings.
And the
Yes.
council's on there, right?
Yes, he said
Council
that.
on Aging.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Last week at the meeting, you said there was about 5 articles. Now it's up to 13?
Because other departments stopped putting theirs in.
It's
Because other
like a
departments.
regular town meeting.
Right, but as other, you know what? Towns change. This is not 20 years ago. This is, it's 2017 and things move quickly and money goes quickly and you need to move stuff. And this is the only way to do it.
I
So-
thought special town meetings were for more or less like unforeseen issues that weren't addressed at an annual town meeting. Because as you know, most people don't go to a special town meeting, so that's a perfect time to pass everything.
Well, no, this looks like that's
Let's
pretty
be
much what
honest,
everything.
that's what it's for.
There's mostly transfers. There's a
It's
couple
mostly
of-
As long as it
transfers.
transfers, yeah,
Couple
that's
of
not,
ones, it seems,
that's
the
okay.
incident down
The senior center.
senior center. with
Right,
the- with the
where
sewer
they gotta
truck.
raise the money for it,
They
but it
didn't
looks
have
like,
$9,000 in their account.
it looks like that's what it is all about right now. And like I said, just once we have it down, we'll have it up online. You can ask any questions you have. I see your hand.
What's
up?
the DOT?
With the.
Having,
the
so that
bike
people can
lanes.
vote to
bike lanes.
decertify, or
Oh, that one.
Decertified.
yeah, decertify that 67, that's the DOT. Any questions? Okay. I'm going to move along then.
Like I say, please, folks, this is public record. If you have questions, just pick up the phone.
Treasury wants an invoice.
I'll make a motion to accept warrant number 28 dated 10/2/2017, that amount $42,073.50.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. Motion to, pay the vendor number 29, 10/2/2017, that amount $57,861.55.
Second. Motion made, seconded, all in favor?
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Sweet. New business. Mark?
Uh,
Come on, you got your list.
no, I don't. I didn't bring anything, I'm sorry.
All right, the only thing I really had was about the football game, but they had sent something in. Mr. Duff, we'll be talking to you shortly, sir. Becky, do you have anything? No. Okay. Then moving along, comments and concerns. Mr. Duff, you are in here for comments and concerns. Absolutely, take the floor, I'll get you in a moment.
I would just like to inform the community that Warren Community Elementary School has partnered with Angels Backpack Inc., which is a program where we send food home to some of the families that we service at Warren Community Elementary School on weekends. There will be a food pantry that will open every Thursday at Warren Community Elementary School from 3:15 until 5 o'clock. It's for any community members that would like to participate in the program. It's all free of charge. It will be every Thursday from 3:15 to 5 o'clock at the rear of the building.
If anyone has any questions,
They can contact the school at 413-436-5983, but I will forward more information from Angels Inc.
okay. And if you can get us a PDF or something, we can have that up on the website as quickly as possible, and my page, I can throw that up there as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, that's a
You're welcome.
great program.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. John?
Yeah, question about the closure of the underpass.
Yes, sir.
What's that all about? I mean,
They're
at
coming
first we
in.
were on hold because we didn't want to disturb anything, and
It looks like CSX and Ludlow have finally come to some type of, or CSX and the state have finally come to some type of,
No, CSX hasn't responded at all, but they're gonna be back up and running to hopefully complete the underpass work on the 10th of October.
correct.
They will be back in town.
What does that work entail, if you don't mind me asking?
A lot of the drainage underneath the underpass, and the underpass will be closed 24/7. So police, fire, highway, the bus company, they've all been notified, so.
So
and
there's
the
no
one
more-
thing we're waiting on hearing about though,
Mhm.
is whether or not the sidewalks will be accessible for the kids who walk and for some of the adults who have to walk to get to the cash market and such.
So there's no more concerns about any potential deterioration of the structure of the bridge and the liability as such?
The CSX doesn't see a problem with it. If
We have that
Tom
in
was at that
writing?
meeting.
To my knowledge, CSX has been non-responsive.
Yeah.
So we don't have an answer?
Yes, we don't have anything,
Well,
right?
at the last meeting that we were at, CSX, they didn't have a problem with it. When the guy came out way back, not way back, but within this project.
Might have been the meeting I missed.
It's easy to get an audience with the Pope than it is with CSX.
Mhm.
Literally.
Do we have that in writing?
But as far as I know from talking to Becky, with, weather and obviously what they encounter when they do that, they are trying to wrap this up by December, Beck.
Correct.
So that
With
mid-December.
any luck, if they get in there and get out, good luck, it'll be.
I mean, I would feel much more comfortable if we had a
Something in writing.
release of
Liability.
liability against the project. I mean, who's responsible if something happens? Are we responsible on the hook to rebuild the bridge for them? I mean, if you look at the bridge structure itself, it's deteriorating tremendously. I mean, you walk under the bridge, which I sometimes do.
I don't walk into the bridge.
I don't trust it. But if we're gonna be doing drainage and work down there, and we know the brook runs through there, who knows where that brook is currently, its channels are running right now.
Brook does not run through under the underpass.
There may have been some washback times, we haven't been under there in quite a while, so. I was just concerned about a liability issue to the town. If something happens to that bridge, and we closed our rail traffic on a major rail, what are we on the hook for?
Could we get a letter out to CSX, letting them know what is occurring, and asking them if they have any reservations about what it is that we are doing? I think that's pretty much the best we can do at this point. I'm not gonna ask them to hold us,
The project that we've done, we have time to get a response.
Yeah, and that's pretty much what I'm thinking, is we
If they don't
won't even get a
respond to the
response.
state, they didn't
Right.
respond to our lawyer.
They won't even,
You know, I mean, I could
but
send one, but.
we'll take the extra measure, and we'll send a letter out, letting them know the intent of the town, and,
I'm sure their engineers know the condition of that structure.
Yeah.
oh yeah, they know the condition of every structure. They
Right.
may not let you know, but they know it.
Right, if they don't sign a release and we start doing something, then we're on the hook for it. That's my concern. We own a new bridge.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, wait. You had your hand up?
Oh, who's paying for this, for the underpass to get done? Is the town paying?
Yeah, the state, it's all part of it.
State?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what we were waiting for, the extra money, that's what.
I know, but I just wanted to make sure that nothing, I didn't want to miss something, I guess.
The feds kicked it out and the state picked it up.
All right. Yes.
Can't we get our council to say, have something in writing, because if there's something
Council
wide
review.
open like that, we're gonna get
Has
stuck.
council reviewed?
Just to say, okay, we're not concerned, that doesn't mean
Because
anything.
again, this really isn't our project, it's DOT's project.
Yeah.
It
But are we
ties our
liable?
hands.
Yes, that's the big thing, the
I mean,
liability.
it is DOT's project, so if something
I don't think
happens,
we're
can we
liable.
throw over to DOT? Because they're the ones who
It's
did
their
it.
project.
I mean, that would be my take on it. DOT is doing the project. If something happens, it's on DOT because it's not a town project. It's DOT who's actually doing the work and funding it.
As long as the town's not, the town's not gonna be held liable, because you know what the laws are. Like this
Just tell me.
sewer repair.
I would feel more comfortable. Mark?
Like the sewer repair.
There we go. So as soon as we have an answer? Okay,
Yeah.
we'll have it in.
Yeah, that's a big liability.
It is, but with so many moving parts,
So are you asking for the project to be put on hold?
absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I would just feel comfortable having them take a look at it and just give their thoughts on it. Yeah, but no, this project's moving forward. We've had complaints about trying to get
I
under
know.
there. We've had complaints about the
You don't need to
bumps,
tell me.
from where it's not done to where it is done. We've had videos of the bumps from where it's not done to where it is done.
And when they complete this, or try to complete it, are we gonna get the black side of the green and this out here cleaned up? Are they gonna?
Yes, once it's all done, all that goes,
Well, I know,
and
but
they
you've been
spray
telling me
that.
for
I don't
months
know what
they
it
were
is,
gonna
but
get
they
it.
spray it and grass grows. I don't
Yeah,
know
but
what's in it.
Memorial Day, you said they're gonna take the concrete bricks out, and the other day I was downtown, and there's some people in the park, and here they are, real
They're
great for the
waiting for the
town of
project.
Warren.
They're
It
waiting
looks
for the
so
time.
nice.
It will when it's done. And yes, Bob.
You got DOT doing the project,
Yep.
and you have the railroad company that owns the bridge.
Mhm.
I don't see how you could possibly have liabilities.
Well,
But-
I'd still feel comfortable
Right.
getting a council to look at it.
I would go down and take pictures anyway.
Actually, that's a great idea. Tom, you got a camera?
I do not.
You do not have a
But you're
camera?
not getting one at the special town meeting.
You got a telephone, don't you?
I do. I think we should go down and throw some pictures. Tom?
I did hear a question on what is actually going on with the project now. I guess just to let everyone know too, because of what it is. When the original project was designed, there was some items underneath the road surface that no one really knew about in design. So what the holdup of the project was is there's a sub-drain pipe approximately 8 to 10 feet below the road surface that has been cambered, and there is very large evidence of the pipe that's rotted away. So starting from the surface down, it is the asphalt, and then there's like a 6-inch layer of gravel. And then underneath that gravel, there's a 6-inch reinforced concrete slab within the whole underpass, which was not known in design. Within the structure of the underpass, there's 4 supports for the bridge that's concrete, that's 41 inches, I believe, by 31 inches, rectangle shape. Those were not really known. So below those structures is some more gravel, and the drainage pipe that's deteriorating is underneath that. So the big holdup is how to design the project to support the road surface because of this concrete slab. And the other extra challenge is the challenge of getting something underneath the underpass to dig this out to get down to replace the pipe. So when it's all said and done now, there'll be, starting from the center of town, working towards the signboard across the street. They're gonna be replacing, I think it's like 75, 80 feet of pipe. They're gonna replace do the whole road over, add one additional catch basin on the left-hand side coming up the hill, and all the structures within the underpass are gonna be either repaired or replaced.
Now you know why it needs to be shut down 24/7.
So the biggest issue and the biggest delay was how to deal with this concrete slab. And that was a big part of it.
Hopefully they can get it done quickly, efficiently, and we can have a nice downtown. And then we can get over there cleaned up, we can get over by park cleaned up. Anyone else? Bueller? All right. Next meeting, I think we should continue weekly until the town special.
The 10th.
Yep, so that'd be the 10th. Next town meeting will be the 10th at 7 PM, and with that, I will entertain why? When I say Bueller, that's like the last thing before we go. What do you got, Mark?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, you're killing me. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Motion's made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Thank you all.
I missed that.